Alright, Bungie. I'm loving that you're uploading the TWAB early, but, like, bro, you gotta stop uploading this early, because I just woke up an hour ago. So I'm late to this information, but whatever, let's go. This week at Bungie, we got guns over here. What, do we have some, like, news on the anniversary event? We have a lot to cover this week, so I'm going to keep this intro short so we can get into it. We have a new emblem for you, new Trials Labs info, a long list of weapon changes, new fashion magazine cover, more Bungie bounties, and a partridge in a pear tree. Actually, scratch the last one, it's only November. Okay. Be true. Everyone at Bungie, both trans developers and allies alike, stand in support of our transgender and gender nonconforming community. We join the call to end anti-trans violence and discrimination. The stars burn brighter because of your courage, unwavering strength, and pursuit of truth. Ahead of Transgender Awareness Week, which celebrates the lives of the transgender and gender nonconforming community from November 13th through the 19th, we are proud to announce our new trans pride emblem, Be True. Your light inspires, helping guide us all on a path to a better future. May it only shine brighter. Transgender Awareness Week leads into Transgender Day of Remembrance on the 20th, a day to memorialize the lives lost to transphobic hate and violence. We also recognize the hardships this community faces. We invite anyone and everyone to join us in this remembrance by donning this new emblem. Unlock it using the code right here on our code redemption site. And there you go. Okay, back to the lab again. This week we are revisiting Trials Labs with Capture Zone. A quick reminder, Capture Zone is still elimination with the following changes. 30 seconds after the round starts, a Capture Zone is enabled. Players can capture the zone to win the round, or just eliminate the other team like normal. The Capture Zone has a waypoint from round start, including a countdown timer, so everyone will know exactly when and where it will be. Was that different than last time? I don't remember. The capture zone starts in the middle of the map in the first round and then changes location each round. We took feedback from the previous zone lab, made the following changes, using a stronger trials map, Endless Veil. Ooh, I like Endless Veil. Rather than rotating through points that give one team a significant location advantage, we are rotating through these 3 neutral zones, one at Temple, one at Mid, and one at Shrine. Players no longer get super energy when capturing a zone either before or after the round ends. Okay. Card-based matchmaking is on all weekend, with the Flawless Pool turning on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. As with the previous 2 labs, the 2 times Trials rank booster will be on all weekend. Going forward, we are looking at adding end-match rewards prior to getting a 7-win card, making it more worthwhile to play in the Flawless Pool. That could be good, and for increasing reputation gain, especially in the later ranks. We are still firming up plans, so expect more information on rewards in December. Alright, here we go. Big news, looks like. Pew pew. Our 30th anniversary is coming up quick, and the new dungeon and cool rewards aren't the only things we are adding to the game. We are also making a hefty tuning pass to weapons and perks. We've still got a little bit of time before these changes go live on December 7th, but in the spirit of transparency, let's get into it early. Please welcome to the stage design lead Chris Proctor. Good day again. We have a mid-season weapon update ready to go live for you next month. Because Season of the Lost is a slightly larger season than normal, we have a slightly larger mid-season tuning pass for you. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Okay, archetypes. Shotguns. In Season 11, we wanted to see if slugs could be viable in PvE with a high enough reward for the risk of being close and the time it takes to aim it ahead. Good news, they're viable. However, they currently outclass pellet shotguns and many other special ammo options, not to mention being part of a dominant boss melt tactic. We'd like to equalize this a bit. However, since pellet shotguns are easier to use than slugs, they don't need as large of a bump. Reduced slug shotgun PvE damage bonus from 30 to 20. Okay, that's fair. Gave pellet shotguns a 10% PvE damage bonus. Okay. Linear fusions. In Season 14, we bumped these up, but believe that while their potential damage output competes numerically, and they're extra hot right now because the sweet particle deconstruction artifact mod, they can't compete with the ease of use of other damage options. Last time they got a precision damage buff, this time it's a flat damage buff. Increased PvE damage by 10%, so they're just going to be even better with particle. Okay. Caster Swords. We shipped this with a high, heavy attack ammo cost to offset a great melee weapon that also has a good range attack, but believe now it's safe to reduce the ammo cost. Okay. 8 to 5. Bows. In Season 11, we bumped bow damage up 10% versus rank and file enemies. Having seen this in game for a few seasons, it seems safe to nudge them up again. Another roughly 10% increase damage. Sidearms and fusion rifles. Due to an ancient data entry error, sidearms and fusion rifle projectiles were non-hit scan. Behind the scenes, the engine does math converting a projectile from non-hit scan to hit scan if it would ever cover a specific distance in one frame, so this would only occur running at 60 FPS or higher. Shout out to a specific community that provided us with evidence on this issue. You know who you are. Increased sidearm and fusion rifle projectile speed from 999 to 9999, which makes them hit scan regardless of frame rate. Okay. Vex Mythoclast. Yes, we overbuff this, and while it's kept in check by the peak shot potential of hand cannons, it's definitely melting faces. In playtests, we feel it's still strong enough to be desirable without feeling free. Okay. Reduced aim assist stat by 25. Fair. Reduced linear fusion rifle aim assist cone scaler, and now requires 3 kills for full overcharge instead of 2 in Crucible. Okay. That's fine. I don't care. Fighting Lion. This wasn't a specific problem, but given increasing frustration with breach grenade launchers and Crucible, it seemed like a misstep to say, we hear you, and here's infinite ammo version of the thing you're frustrated about. In the same patch, it should be clear to everyone that a full nerf isn't needed, so we're adjusting it. No, this is not a full rollback. There's still a difference between almost infinite ammo and actually infinite ammo, and how weapons are used. And in playtests where we tried to abuse infinite ammo, it was extraordinarily oppressive. Much more so than we expected, given that it had a ton of ammo previously. I can't talk today. Remove the multi-hit requirement, i.e. dealing any damage will grant the buff. Okay. Increased the buff to the reload stat from 50 to 70. Reload will still be slow if you miss, but if you land any damage, Fighting Lion will reload faster than it did before the nerf. Okay. And increase the buff duration to 7 seconds. Cool. Arbalest will now have intrinsic anti-barrier. We've been waiting for this. Oh, man. Sleeper Simulant. The delta between Sleeper and the best legendary linear fusion wasn't large enough to make this a compelling option, so while it benefits from the 10% damage buff above, we've given it some additional love. Increased mag size from 3 to 4, and increased PvE damage by 6%. Cool. Suros dual mode receiver always made Suros a worse 360 RPM auto rifle, but fixing that is a straightforward stat bump. This may not make this mode dominant, but at least it does what it's intended to do, turning it into a high impact auto. 30 range, plus 3 zoom. Cryostasia, okay. Given the state of stasis in PvP at the start of Season 14, we deliberately shipped this weapon in a weak state, which almost physically hurt us, but was the right decision, not wanting to contribute to the problem. Now that we had more time to evaluate the state of the Sandbox, we reworked this exotic to address its weakness in PvE, specifically the following pain point. Fire on release with the charge trigger, losing all ammo and firing the freezing shot. Removed variable trigger completely. Now fires on trigger press instead of release. This will make it feel much more responsive. That's good. That thing just felt sluggish. I hated that sidearm. Maybe now I'll actually use it. Charge shot move to special reload. Getting a final blow with sidearm enables access to it. Once the charge shot is fired, the weapon reverts back to standard mode. This does not cost your entire magazine. Charge shot now causes an AoE which freezes AI and slows players. Direct hits still freeze. Cool. I peeked a buff one down below, but Leviathan's Breath. This bow is underused, so we wanted to give it a bump while also making its catalyst more interesting. Expect this type of catalyst tweak to become more common moving forward. The catalyst now grants Archer's tempo perk in addition to its other effects. That could be really cool. But this one, I spotted that tease a couple twabs back, and this is my favorite exotic in the game, so... Whisper of the Worm. The original DPS king has fallen out of favor, with the delay before the damage buff kicking in making the weapon less usable in its short damage phases, and optimal sustained damage requiring all critical hits but not sufficiently rewarding precision. Okay, let's see. Reduce the delay on activating Whispered Breathing from the catalyst from 2.1 seconds to 1.2 seconds. I'm happy about this, but I honestly wish they just removed the delay. But let's see. White Nail magazine refill changed. Was 3 from inventory, but now pulls 2 from inventory and 1 from thin air. Okay. Increased damage in PvE by 10%. Okay. Well, we'll see how this plays out. This is definitely way better, especially since you are getting bonus ammo. 1 from thin air, but... kind of wish Whispered Breathing was just always procced if you had the catalyst. They gotta add the catalyst back to the game, though. Okay. Darcy. This sniper rifle's damage has fallen behind as other options have been buffed, and its damage is dependent on crits, while also requiring 100% time on target, so we improved its ease of use and bumped the damage up. Reduced flinch, recoil, and accuracy degradation by 50% while Personal Assistant is active. Personal Assistant now has a 1 second delay before deactivating when off target. Increased damage in PvE by 20%. The weird thing about these two, and maybe these buffs will make them great, who knows, until we get it in our hands, but like, I almost wish they would just put it in the special slot. Like, genuinely. Like, maybe they wouldn't need to buff it this much and they need to pull it back some, but like, yeah. Malfeasance for a weapon all about explosions. This hand cannon's explosions were a bit underwhelming. Increased explosion damage by 50%? Okay. Dead Man's Tale. We've seen this scout rifle usage drop dramatically on console since the most recent nerf, so we spent some time tuning it in a way that benefits controller much more than mouse and keyboard. This isn't actually branching the tuning between input devices, but the bits we touched are either only present or are much more impactful on controller. Increased reticle friction fall-off distance, less recoil, improved accuracy. Okay. So it's just gonna feel better. Error parent catalyst. There was a data error in the catalyst resulting in granting too much damage resistance against players. This has now been corrected. No effect in PvE. Reduced damage resistance from 75% to 25%. Okay. Lawrence Driver. The bonus ability energy feels extraneous when the damage buff is so strong, and we're limiting certain weapon sources of ability energy. Removed ability energy regeneration on picking up telemetry. I'll be real, I didn't even know it did that. Like, I just thought it was big boom weapon. Traveler's Chosen, the ability energy gained granted from the perk was on a curve that isn't intuitively understood. Similar to Lawrence Driver, it seemed appropriate to adjust this in PvP. These changes aren't noticeable in PvE. Now grants 10% ability energy per stack on activation. Let's see, it was more generous on low stacks and less generous on high stacks. Reduced stacks granted on a Guardian defeat from 3 to 2. Okay. Adrenaline Junkie. This perk wasn't performing as well as intended, and the path of least resistance was making it live up to its name, Grenade Buckler. Eliminations with the weapon can add a single damage stacks or extend existing ones. Okay. Ooh. Oh, so now it works like Swashbuckler. Lower the duration to compensate for weapon activation. It's Swashbuckler but for grenades now. Okay. I like that. That's what it should have been, but I like this change a lot. Okay, Vorpal Weapon. A perk that grants 15% bonus damage against all targets I'm going to use my heavy weapon on. This was a non-choice and sucked the air to the room for other damage perks. At the same time, it was failing its original role, giving players a reason to run a primary weapon against tough targets. Was 15% damage on all weapons. Now, 10% on heavy weapons, 15% on special, and 20% on primary. No change to damage versus players in super. Okay, so the heavy weapon Vorpals get nerfed a bit, but primaries got buffed. And specials stay the same. Okay. Whirlwind Blade. This was too obviously the best sword damage perk around, so while we're fine with it being good at sustained damage, we pulled it back for shorter fights. Increased number of stacks needed to hit maximum damage from 5 to 10. Okay. Pulse Monitor. What if instead of activating on what feels like a fail state, this activated on a state when you'll be in almost every encounter, even if you're winning? Change threshold from activation from 90% health to 30% shield. This now requires much less damage to trigger. Okay. Quick access sling for mods. This usage on this mod is very telling. It's extensively used on bows and breach grenade launchers and barely used at all on other weapons. I'd be real, I've never even used it on a bow. Like, I used quick access sling once back in Black Armory because it was what I had to put on a hammerhead. Because I didn't have all the mods or something like that. At the same time, we've pulled down some options players had for improving their swap speed and wanted to make an option available for building towards that on all legendary weapons. Okay, so we changed the functionality. It was 100% handling and a 0.9 ready stow aim down tight speed for 0.4 seconds after running out of ammo. Now it is 0.9 ready stow time all the time. Okay, but no handling buff. This change also applies to the swap mag perk, as they use the same perk behind the scenes. I don't even remember what this perk is and what guns it's on, but... Oh, is this full auto? Oh, it's happening. Full auto retrofit. We've seen plenty of requests for an accessibility option allowing full auto fire, particularly on fast-firing semi-auto weapons. We have a settings option in the works for season after the Witch Queen launches, but decided to put in a stopgap to help players until we're able to ship it. Please keep these types of suggestions coming. Added a full auto retrofit weapon mod that enables full auto while the trigger is held, usable on legendary hand cannons, sidearms, scouts, and pulses. This is unlocked by default for all players. Okay. That is a lot of really good changes. I like this a lot. Okay, annual expansions are a good time for system level changes since they get so much more playtest time over a longer duration compared to a normal season. We don't like that the desire for exotic catalysts is largely driven by the orbs of power generation they provide and have something in the works to let players build that around that limitation. Weapon differentiation. If I have two void adaptive hand cannons, one from the Suros Foundry and one from the latest raid, why do I care about one more than the other? The stats tend to be fairly close, perk pools can be different, but there are only so many perks, and it's a stretch to say the perk pool gives the weapon its identity. We've got something shipping on all new and reissued weapons in the Witch Queen that addresses this issue directly and are working to expand the same solution to all weapons that drop in the future. Okay. We mentioned in the last patch notes that we're not done with the special ammo economy in PvP, and have further tweak coming that should help bring down the amount of ammo floating around. Exotic primary weapons already advance ammo finder mods much faster, but we wanted them to feel better in hard PvE content and are adjusting all of them to reach this goal. We're adjusting some exotics, some that consistently top the PvP usage charts in an impressive way. Some had their perks limited to a degree that's no longer warranted. We're looking at you, Chaperone. Okay. Cover story, that's some Threads of Light stuff. You can look at that yourself. More Bungie bounties if you care about this stuff. Okay. Player support team. Calendar change. With Trials Labs Capture Zone coming back this weekend, bonus Trials rank points will come with it. As a result, extra Nightfall rewards have been shifted to next week. That's good. Everything should unlock next week in terms of GMs, hopefully, unless they changed it. Let's see here. Earlier this week, Destiny 2 players in the US and Canada were sent an email and survey about a user research opportunity. Yes. Many players have reached out to us that they haven't received any kind of email from us in a very long time. This could be caused for several different reasons, but the best way to start receiving our email again is to go to your Bungie.net profile, yada yada. Okay. Let's see here. Next Tuesday on the 16th, we will undergo downtime again for maintenance. More Rutabaga errors. I thought these were like on purpose because of certain issues. Yeah, whatever. Frenzy and Rampage and the Rampage Spec are all named the same in Chinese now. Okay. The Wicked Overgrowth Shader isn't available for players who completed the Iron Banner quest on all their characters. If players start the Lost Lament quest on one character and complete on another, Banshee still tries to give the Broken Blade to the first character to complete the quest that no longer exists. When a Warlock performs Phoenix Dive, they can't slide for 5 seconds. That sucks. Movie of the week. Okay, well, that's a lot of information. If you made it this far, bless your heart, you're our kind of people. While every twabs leading up to the 30th anniversary might not have this much meat on the bone, I can promise they'll all have plenty of gravy and stuffing. See you soon, Cosmo. Okay. So, my allergies bother me a little bit, so sorry, I could barely fucking talk the whole time. But, yeah. Some pretty interesting stuff. We'll see how the Whisper buff plays out. I really care about that. Like, I hope this is enough. I want to use my baby again. I want to have a reason to use this sniper again. Maybe the 10% damage increase will do it. It'll have really good sustained damage, but like, what fight in the game really needs sustained damage anymore? Like, maybe Templar, but everything else is roughly on a timer. Like, you're not going to use sustained, like, you want burst damage for, like, Atheon and shit like that, and Atrax and stuff, like, and even Templar, like, I don't know, we'll see. Particle deconstruction's still king, so we'll see what happens. But, yeah, with that being said, my name's Yami, and I'll see you beautiful people next time.